So as I was sitting back and kind of thinking to myself, what was I going to speak about and what topics would be discussed, I decided I might as well zero my way in on the decline in marriage rates as I promised to a couple of users not too long ago. How you doing, Fresh? I don't intend for this to be that long because I'm worried about some other things I have to just go through and get. And I might do a part two if this is successful. To give you an idea of what I'm talking about, apparently there's been a 6% decrease in the last decade of just adults getting married. I think it went from 57 to 51. But the most staggering one, in my opinion, was the mentioning that back in the 1960s, 45% of those between the ages of 18 and 24 were married. Now it's only 9%. Um, Now, one might say, okay, well, that's because people just don't seek marriage anymore. And that is true, but that's also because people who do seek marriage or just some long term relationship that will eventually lead to that are turned down by the people who might otherwise call themselves compatible. I've actually encountered this problem throughout the course of this year, uh, which, I didn't just go up to someone and say, hey, let's get married, but it was intended with the idea of, okay, you speak to this person for however many days, weeks, and over the course of months, you try to start some long term interaction that's based off of your compatibility, which there was, okay, let me see what the Fresh says. It's because marriage benefits women and most of the divorces are initiated by them. Um, I'm not going to disagree with that. You got that prenuptial agreement. Um, when I was interacting with the various females throughout this year, it wasn't until I would say the latter part around the summer that many of the women I encountered that came with the idea of, okay, maybe this can be something more than just a date, which was what some were permitting me to have accessibility to. And I said, it's not necessarily because I don't like to go into an interaction with a false premonition. So I wouldn't say, oh yes, I just would like to go on one date and then bye bye. Um, what I was doing was designed to say, okay, well, this starts off this way. I'd like it to go this far. And back to back, I was met with opposition. I had one that kept swearing up and down, I can't do it for X, Y, Z, and all the other alphabets. The other one was saying that she was willing to do it, but not willing to do anything that came with it, such as relocate or be around the other person often. Bah, how are you doing? Which, by the way, another shared theme between the two of them was that they both had this idea of supposedly speaking or interacting every day is just so disenchanting and disheartening and just destroys whatever compatibility you have with the other person. Which that's a video for another day. This idea that people have they're gonna live forever. Um, and AJDA Envoy, how are you doing? So one thing that I kind of, and you might say to yourself, oh well, you're only 19, you can't rush to that, you can't run to that. Well, my stance is this: I don't get another year back after one of getting turned down over and over. I don't get another decade back after one of getting turned down over and over. A lot of times I start on a project, I just put up a synopsis and just immediately jump into it. There's no, oh, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I have to wait a couple of weeks, years, months. Those are things I'm just not in the business of doing because I recognize the essential of time, which is all that was the catalyst for me tending to call most relatives or friends that I have, or just speak to them with very, if not every day, every other day. There was a very large frequency to my interactions, and it was based around this just belief system I had that when you actually value life, when you want your years to matter, you try to squeeze as much in them, you try to do as much that you possibly could do because you don't get the idea. We're not promised 30s and 40s. I've known people that have passed away prematurely, who swore that they were going to be around for decades, and so when you're of the idea that this could be your final, you just want all of what you can have. And I didn't see a long-term relationship as something that was just impossible. And I realize as time has moved on, we're going away from just wanting to get a date to actually wanting something more. And it's like even females that claim they are interested keep trying to push that away. Yeah, well, Ba, who was saying, yeah, life is so short, you have to make it count. That's the problem I've had with some of these various females that I've encountered. It's as though they live this life where I want to be able to just go around, do whatever I want, no commitment, nothing. You know, I would give you the same rules I would have of myself, which would be something that doesn't involve seeing other people and just having an interaction that is of stability. And they don't want it. And it's irritating to go on here and go and read through some other person's video, some, gathering of chicks that, probably do have their, grievances that are based around their actual interactions. I'm not calling them liars. But to hear the other side claim that males do not want this, it's so mind-numbing and frustrating to go through that whole thing and then have someone tell you that you and your group just doesn't want it as you're trying to get it, and people from the group that they're saying is so desperate for it or otherwise yearns for it so much choose not to do it. I have had multiple women I've encountered, spoke with for months, days, weeks, that I saw potential to be with as a result. And one thing you have to realize is that back during the 60s, 50s, and 40s, there was a thing called shotgun marriages, which were basically when two people had sex without being a married couple, they would get married for the child to have stability, to have both parents in their life. I actually had one female try to tell me, oh, this means that the two people involved won't have happiness, and that's a bad way that society would be if they kept that up. I told her, the problem with you saying that is, even with them getting rid of that, they're still, actually with them not using that as much anymore, they might still use it, we have a lower amount of birth rates. This idea of single mother and single father works so well, particularly single mother, has resulted in a complete absence of fathers and neighbors. I don't know what Bob means by everybody is different. Anyways, keeping that in mind, you have to also think to yourself about this. If that truly didn't work, if that truly was meant to fail, if that system really just crashed and burned, why was the rate of people getting married so high? Why was the divorce rate, not that big back then? What happened? The one decent thing about having a bastard child or kid out of wedlock back then was that it gave both people a rallying point. Oh yes, I want to be this independent thing that gets to roam around. The male or female could be saying that. But I also want to make sure that my kid, who I didn't intend to have, but that the life of which I still value, is able to have both parents or otherwise know both sides. Oh yeah, Envoy, I'm aware of views on divorce having changed. And really, I would be kind of disappointed at that prospect. Okay, I was lost, but now I'm found. Says, do you think the media has had an effect on how women view men? Boss says, oh, you guys are coming at, wow. Sometimes I don't get anything, and now I'm getting 4. Boss says, what I mean is that some people want marriage and some don't. Oh, I know that. I'm not saying that everybody wants what I want. Don't misconstrue me. What I'm conveying to you is that it seems too many people are that way, and it shouldn't be the case. I'm not, advocating everyone take my position, but these are people who, like, for example, I had a woman earlier this year admit to me she wants to have children. Then when I asked her, do you want to get married? Obviously not to me, but just to anybody. She goes, I don't know. So you're basically saying you want your kid to potentially grow up in some environment where they don't have the other parent. You shouldn't want that. Even if it happens, you shouldn't want that. It's like if I said, oh, I'm going to college. Do you plan to finish? I don't know. Even if I think I might drop out from the school being too hard, I shouldn't think of that as a possibility or want that. Okay. When the fresh said, and I'm skipping the other, I'm about to go back to it. It's because of feminism has destroyed the family until it's taught women that they don't need a man, but ironically she gets alimony. No, it's that, those social programs, dude, and I love LBJ, but we have dropped the ball in some cases. People have misused and misconstrued that. Anyways, AJ the Envoy says, look at TV show's movie. It's almost celebrates to have gone through a divorce. Um, AJ says, it's funny. I think the girl just wants a child because she understands that she has a biological clock. Well, I understand. I have one too. That's why I'm not over here talking about, oh, yeah, I can't wait until I'm 30 to settle down and go. I hate this idea that every single male or guy or whatever has some vested interest in just being some party animal that goes around and wants to hang out and experiment and try all kind of drugs. And it's this image that I feel is so it partially is ageist in a way. You know, like, oh, guys in their late teens and 20s and 30s are all this way until they get, you know, to be whatever age, they all switch over. I really have a ardent distaste for that because I, as an individual, do not partake in these activities. Not saying people who do are bad, but when you know yourself and then you hear other people keep trying to lump you in this group, all the while saying that they can't get what you seemingly are, it's aggravating. True, but also you can have children pretty much throughout your whole life. Women, your best period, 20 to 30. Okay, well, understand my mind frame. I understand that life is short. Why would I want to put off something that I already want by 10 years or 20 years? You know, that's, imagine if we had a poll that said men last or live 10 years longer than women. So am I supposed to just wait another 10 years to go and try and date and finally settle down? I don't think so. So you know, you can talk about the biological clock. I have my own. Maybe it's not every male, but you know, I fully am aware that eventually I won't be able to do half of the stuff I'm able to do. So that's why I've tried to get as much out of my abilities or just otherwise ways of doing things up until this point. So I don't want there to be misconceptions about me saying, haha, you guys are ticking. You guys are going down. Tick tock, tick tock. No, I was lost, but now I'm found. Yeah, I heard that too, fresh, but you know, I'm giving you my equivalency. I'm not saying that I am the gold standard for how males should interact, but it's very aggravating to have people come over to your stuff and try to tell you that they are into you, and then you go and try talking to them, and they say, "Oh, y'all go on a date, but commitment." Whoever heard of that? Okay, Envoy says, I understand. Just believe women will forsake a lot of things just for children. They will even forsake marriage and rather have a baby daddy. Oh yeah, that's what she was advocating for. And I told you about the other one. Oh, I don't want to. What was her nonsense? Why do you want to? I don't want to be. If I get a husband, I want to see him every couple of days. Even though I don't think any marriage that is where two people live around each other works like that. Okay, I was lost, but now I'm found because I've been holding the crucible in this thing for a while. That's why. And why do people focus on minute details? I'm trying to relate a story or tell you about my position on something, and then we're asking about your glasses and when was the last time you messed with the papers in the background. What does that have to do with anything? So whatever. I guess that's part of the reason why we don't really function as a society, even if it's both male and females. We have this thing to focus on itty bitty minute details that shouldn't matter. Yeah, but Fresh, you're only saying that after I pointed out because someone else in the chat room said something about it. And my point I'm making is we're trying to discuss this topic. Just to have someone ask something that has nothing to do with it. So I have no opinion on that sonar visions. I'm not fully. I am not. I'm ignorant to some extent on that topic. So you know, I have to educate myself and get back to you later. Again, I have no stance on either one of those. Well, feminism, I like it for the sake of actually promoting equality. My problem is that we see too often ways in which that's not really being tested. Like we still have males having to register for the wars. We still have males having to go out and approach every single female. We still have I mean, you know, I'm not saying that makes it to where Again, my words get misconstrued. I'm saying those are things in which I feel the other gender should be able to do if they truly want equality. Civil partnerships, the rise of I don't know about that, envoy. You can have your own opinion. I'm fine with it. What else is here? I feel like I missed something. Let me see. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done for the day. I would just say I'm really tired of people thinking in their head for it hurts but it'll get better. Yeah, people that's what the that one that was talking about only wanting to see her supposed husband for every couple of days. That's what she said. It'll get better. It'll get better. It'll get better. Is there any evidence of it getting better? No, it'll just get better. So I don't believe it, but people can they like to put themselves on false hopes. And really, the way I always thought of something getting better is to contribute to it getting better. So, for example, if I said, "Oh man, people keep littering and throwing stuff in the streets, and it's gonna come out the sea is gonna rise up and devour us all," I would take my trash, not put it in the street, and then contribute to it getting better. How is someone who says they are disenchanted with the lack of marriages within, I guess, American society or just society in general, going to say, yes, you live over there. No, I won't get married to you, but it'll get better. How is that making it better? And I just hate we're so dependent on other people to fix our problems. That's what just annoys me so much about many of the modern era individuals when it comes to interactions with. Oh yeah, there's a lot of strength there. Which that's probably another thing I'll discuss. 50% you expect to pay. Well, Turner, that doesn't happen all the time. So you have to look at it with a bit more of neutrality. There are cases where that has occurred. But I don't. When I try to go after this stuff, I don't do it for the sake of, oh man, this horrible thing might happen. That's what kills me about some of these females, and that's another thing I'll probably discuss soon. The negativity as it applies to females when pursuing them romantically. That's another topic to get into, because I have gone into many of these going, oh yeah, I hope this will, yeah, and then they'll go and say, oh well, this might not work because you live over there, and this might not work because you're this religion, and this might not work. It is so aggravating. That's definitely I just had that viewpoint come out of who said something that made me think that. Yeah, from that thing about the divorce rate and marriages, yeah, I'm gonna definitely that spark that. So that'll get discussed in the coming days, definitely. If not, maybe by the end of today. But I definitely am going to get involved with that and speaking about it. Because you're going to start learning, well, not learning, but you're going to start seeing from these interactions I've had, a lot of the traits that people are saying males have that lead to them not being with people are being exercised in mass by some of these females. Whether it be the negativity, the lack of confidence, the depression, all the things they said men couldn't get away with, they are getting away with. And, you yourself are bugged by it too. You go, I don't want to hear this. It's as unattractive to you as a male as it was to females who said they were bothered by these, lack of confidence having males or whatever. But you still express sympathy because you've been in that situation or you've felt that way. Yeah, I was lost but now found. That's what they mostly are. And people are just flocking to them. So I'm definitely going to discuss the other topic, but I'm going to go and do some stuff, and we'll see how the rest of the day plays out. I have a policy of trying to get things out as quickly as I can, and there's a bit of an agenda in the upcoming hours. I hope the stream has been enjoyable, and we'll find out. Well, I'm not saying that some aren't visions. Don't misconstrue my words. I'm conveying that there are some I believe, some I don't. And that's really kind of been the case with most of these widespread um, claims about just anything. Some you believe, some you don't, and it's based off of what's being presented in front of you. If I tell you that, I've been married 5 times, and I can't show you any kind of proof, no documents, no legal proceedings, are you really going to believe me? If I tell you that I've, dated, I don't know, 100 women, and then you don't see anything of them, are you going to believe me? No, I was lost, but now I'm found. I told you, it's some is real, some is not. That'll be the problem. Is anytime I discuss a particular topic, there's always that one person that comes in the chat room trying to argue, and I don't know. I've kind of moved to the point where you're not going to change them. I'm not going to change your mind. Why are you just go? And I don't mind if it's a debate where we're talking about, this might be this because that, but you're going to tell me because I am this, I cannot say something about that. So I'm not authorized according to them. I don't have exemption to freely discuss something that is public information that everyone else has been able to talk about because my opinion is not the one you want to see be divulged. Quite interesting. So we'll speak about other stuff. Either by the end of today or in the next few days. Definitely, no later than that. So thank you for watching. If you leave a comment, I'll most likely subscribe to your channel. So keep that in mind.